Hello, me again for another daily video. I have Kim preening my arm. I thought I'd put the camera a little bit further away so you can see the girls a bit more, because we know that they're a lot nicer to look at than I am. So I'm also doing this slightly out of order. I actually have two videos ready to go, but they just need a bit of editing, and today I thought I'm just going to put one out without any editing just so that I get it out today. So it might be slightly out of order. You'll notice the ones from the other days are very wobbly because I forgot to bring my tripod out, but I'm sure you will cope. So today's video is going to be about privacy and how the Hen Haven is going to be amazing as far as the animals were able to help because we don't have neighbours keeping an eye on us. Now the reason I thought about this today is because as I was bringing the hens and Levi the duck and the others in and out of the house this morning, I looked over and there's this one bit where when you come out of our back door, the office of the next door neighbours can see directly across. It's the only bit of the garden where people can see in really easily, and she can just see directly to the back door. And because we don't have all the enclosures we need, because we're not set up like that and we can't add permanent enclosures here, I have to have girls and boys sleeping in the house. So they're in the carriers and I bring them out, or I carry them out if they've been kind of free ranging around the house. And as I was going in, I kind of looked over and I waved. I went to wave, and I am pretty sure she was filming me on her phone. And I could be wrong, because I've actually had a time when I was accused of filming someone once and I wasn't, and they were going crazy and I was just looking at my phone for something else. So it could be that, it could just be nothing. But I think it's reasonable to have these concerns when you're renting and you have a limit of 5 chickens and a cat in the house, and every inspection we have to, have all the animals elsewhere, whether it's in one of our foster carers down the road or in the car just for an hour. And it's pretty stressful. And we've got this limit of the end of the year, so that next March, when our lease expires, we will try to move or have moved and set up this Hen Haven. But I'm pretty worried that it's going to be before that we're going to get kicked out, because at a certain point, and it tends to come after about a year of being in a property, I've just found that there's issues with privacy and with neighbours. Even though we leave every house exactly as we found it, so we re-turf any dirt areas that have become dirt because of the chickens, if anything's happened to a wall or something, we would repaint, we'd leave it as we find it. But that doesn't really matter to them, to landlords and to neighbours and to real estate agents. We're also careful not to cause too much hassle to the neighbours. So we don't have roosters here, although we do have Cody, who hasn't started crowing yet, but we'll have to find him and his sisters a home. I'm getting such a good preen, aren't I? Thank you, Kim. What a beautiful girl. So I guess even if we owned this house, which is not the kind of place that we would buy, because the house is very nice and we wouldn't be able to afford that, and we'd have more land instead, but we would have privacy. We would plant trees or bushes to create that privacy from the neighbours, so that even if we still couldn't have roosters because of the noise, we wouldn't have to worry about them looking at us or filming and possibly reporting to council. We've had other issues in the past, one of our... Hello, I've just got Frida coming up. You'll see the very top of her head. She's giving my trousers a preen. Hello, darling. One of our previous real estate agents got a real bee in his bonnet about the chickens, even though we had permission to have some. And there was a vacant lot beside us, so it was great in that respect. We only had one neighbour to deal with, and the other neighbours were pretty good. But the real estate agent just decided, even though no one had complained, that it was an issue, and he got a drone and flew it over our garden just to spy on us. And he actually bragged about that as well. So it was really difficult, and just to put an end to those things, and I'm trying to describe to people why we just can't continue renting. I'm already really afraid that our lease is going to be shorter than I thought it was, which would be the end of this year. But I'm dreading that they're going to make it sooner, because we don't have the funds to move to a permanent property yet. And my even if we had an acre, look, we don't know yet if we'll be in a position to take roosters, because it really depends on how close the neighbours are. But just having the trees to give that privacy, to give the safety to the animals as well. Security is going to be important, because there are people with bad intentions towards animals, and we need to make sure we have our security. Isn't she gorgeous? I have to say, like, as a side note, like, I'm not having a great day today as far as feeling good about the fundraiser. The donations have really slowed, like, not taking away from anything. Anyone who has donated, like, everyone is amazing who's done that, and 40,000 or almost 41,000 is a really big achievement, but it's not close to what we need, which is 150,000. And yesterday there was this chicken truck crash where a truck of chickens on their way to slaughter was in a crash. The driver was fine, but the chickens were not, and around 900 of them burnt at the scene. This was in South Australia. And the RSPCA and authorities attended, and they didn't save anyone. They didn't save a single chicken. They say that smoke inhalation meant they couldn't, like the chicken smoke inhalation. But that's a total lie. Like, we saved Justice, or a wonderful member of the community saved Justice and then brought her to us she was the lone survivor of another chicken crash where they said none could be saved, and yet she was saved by someone who broke the law to do so. And she went on to have a wonderful life with one of our carers. They could have been saved, but the RSPCA yet again decide that chickens just aren't worth it. And the other thing they do is they constantly use the word euthanasia. The media do it, the authorities do it, the RSPCA do it. Euthanasia should be a mercy killing for an animal or a person who is in a great deal of distress and does not have a cure possible. Euthanasia is not sending chickens to slaughter that could be saved, or breaking their necks at the side of the road, or painfully gassing them. It's complete misuse of the word. It makes people sound better. It makes people feel better, but in fact, it's a disgrace, and it's as bad, if not worse, than average slaughter. It really hit home for me because Kim here was in a similar situation, where she's a very rare survivor of a case where around 4,000 hens or more, 4,000 was the number given by the RSPCA, were euthanized by the RSPCA after they'd been in a cruelty case. The fact is they were sent to slaughter. They were not euthanized, and they said they couldn't be saved. And look, years later, Kim is here, healthy and happy, preening me, a survivor of that. And it breaks my heart that the people who are meant to be standing up for animals are not doing it. In fact, they're causing them massive harm. So today I'm thinking about the urgency of what we're trying to do, and how important education programs will be, and how important it is that we find a way to keep going. And I'm thinking about the simple things like adding privacy to a sanctuary, so that we're not constantly being watched by people that don't understand and don't have the compassion for animals that we feel. Isn't she just so beautiful? Hey, are you gorgeous, darling? She had her friend Courtney as well, who since passed away. We had an implant. Kim has an implant too, to stop her having to lay eggs, but Courtney actually succumbed to cancer eventually anyway. Like, implants add a lot to their life, a lot of years, but eventually, due to their breeding, reproductive cancers can take hold. So anyway, so that's today's video, and hopefully the next one will be, we might talk a bit about an education program that I'm planning for the Hen Haven. And aren't I lucky getting this lovely preening? And I will see you tomorrow.